This video was made possible by HDpiano. Learn the best songs on piano at HDpiano.com. Head out to the pub on a Saturday night or to a wedding disco or really anywhere where they're playing live music and drinking, and you're going to hear the same familiar question.
It started out with a kiss, how did it end up like this?
Mr. Brightside is the Killer's most popular song, and it's particularly popular in the UK. It's the UK's longest running chart hit after spending 7 entire years in the UK's top 100 songs. Also, as of this year, it's the UK's best-selling single to have never reached #1 in the charts. So today, let's look closer at this song, exactly what's going on in this anthemic, unavoidable piece of music. The song Mr. Brightside actually predates the Killers and is much the reason that the Killers were created as a band. Guitarist Dave Koonings had come up with the Mr. Brightside riff and concept before even forming the band. The guitar riff for Mr. Brightside is about as deceptively difficult as it is iconic. Although it doesn't sound particularly challenging, what makes this guitar riff so fiddly is that it's not only voiced really high on the guitar's neck, well above the 12th fret, but its sound relies on using some open strings from the guitar, so the hand has to carefully fret the notes as to not mute the open strings. In this quote, Koonings describes how he arrived at this unusual voicing on guitar. I was exploring different chord voicings and shapes and was playing this one voicing over and over again. I decided to change the bass note and move it around in different directions, up, down, sideways, diagonally, and then into the pre-chorus. So Koonings had come up with Mr. Brightside as a concept, but right now it was just a riff and a chord progression. The next step was to find a singer. Soon, Killer's frontman and lead singer Brandon Flowers would respond to an ad that Koonings had put in a local newspaper looking for people interested in starting a band. I had the demo for about 3 months before I met Brandon. I'd placed an advert in the Las Vegas Weekly saying, looking to start or join a band, and named a few influences like Oasis, Smashing Pumpkins and Beck. When Brandon and I first met, I said, here's a tape with a few of my song ideas on it. Brandon came back the next day or maybe the next practice and said, hey, I've got some lyrics to your song. And they're still the lyrics to this day.
Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all.
As Koonings describes there, it was Brandon Flowers who wrote the vocal melody and lyrics over the already established riff. The melody that Brandon Flowers came up with here is incredibly monotone. The entire verse is pretty much sang on just one note. And that note is the tonic note. We're in the key of D flat, so the note he's basically singing throughout the entire verse is just the note D flat.
It started out with a kiss, how did it end up like this? It was only a kiss, it was only a kiss. Now I'm falling asleep and she's calling a cab while he's having a smoke and she's taking a drag. Now they're going to bed and my stomach is sick and it's all in my head.
Now, I spent many years as a wedding musician, and Mr. Brightside was one of the classics that you would play in pretty much every set. But what's different about Mr. Brightside versus other wedding floor classics like Living on a Prayer is that with Mr. Brightside, the crowd sing not just the chorus, but the verse as well. And I think a big reason for this is that it is just this one note. It's really easy to not just sing along, but effectively chant along. You don't even need to sing a melody. And this is made extra easy by the fact that verse 1 and verse 2 of Mr. Brightside have the exact same lyrics. Mr. Brightside is the only Killer song where the verse lyrics repeat themselves, which is interesting. That might be why it's so catchy. Everyone knows those lyrics because you get to say them twice and they're pretty anthemic. Now, because the vocal melody throughout the entire verse is just that one repeating note, it means that as we enter the pre-chorus and then the chorus, the new melody, despite being fairly simple, gives a real injection of energy and a release of tension because we're finally getting some melodic development. Coupled with this now developing melody, the pre-chorus also gives us a new chord progression. After the pre-chorus, we move to the chorus, where we get a new chord progression, 1, 4, 6, 5. After the main chorus, we go to what you could describe as a post-chorus, an instrumental section where we are still following the chorus's chord progression and we're still at that high dynamic level of the chorus, but the vocal melody has now been replaced with a soaring synth melody. Unlike with most of my song analysis videos, for this video I didn't really need to do any new analysis because I already know this song inside out. That's the thing, the best way to learn how a song works and what's going on is to learn how to play it. So if you want to learn more about the songs you love, I would suggest learning them right now with HDpiano. HDpiano is a really accessible way to learn songs at the piano, particularly if you don't know how to read notation. When you learn songs on the piano, it's far easier to analyse and understand what's actually going on. The guitar fretboard has a way of obscuring what's actually happening note to note, chord to chord, but on the piano it's all laid out in front of you for you to understand. Use the links down below to start learning piano with HDpiano today. Following the post-chorus, we then get a straight repeat of the entire structure and lyrics that we've already heard, verse, pre-chorus and chorus again. Following the second chorus, we once again go into an instrumental passage, but this time, rather than staying at the same energy level as the chorus, the dynamic is dropped down to create a build-up. It's here where the guitar plays a new riff, which some people have likened to the melody from Beethoven's Ode to Joy. During the 8 bars of this build-up section, the dynamic and pressure grows, finally climaxing in this ultimate release of energy, with Brandon singing the simple lyric, "I never." And then wrapping it all up, we get these 3 hits where the song doesn't actually properly resolve. We hang on this 5 chord, giving a sort of discontent to the end of the song. If Mr. Brightside did resolve properly at the end, it would sound like this. So why is Mr. Brightside so popular? Well, for me there's 2 main reasons. The first is that it's a masterclass in building dynamic in a predictable way. Each section of the song takes the dynamic up a different gear, we get a different level of energy. And it's the contrast between these different levels of energy which makes the song exciting. But what I think makes this song extra engaging, particularly for a crowd, for an audience, is that these dynamic changes aren't unpredictable. The structure of the song is fairly easy to track even on your first listen, so you don't need to pay too much attention to know where to get excited. You're not left looking like a fool where you started rocking out to a section that actually turned out to be very quiet. You can predict when the energy is meant to go up and meant to go down and move your body in time with that. But on top of all of that, I think the thing that amplifies this song's effectiveness is how broadly popular it is. There's nothing more exciting than singing a song with a whole crowd of other people. So an exciting song like Mr. Brightside with an accessible lyric and a easy to follow structure can bring people together, creating a snowball effect where the more popular the song gets, the more effective it is at acting as that binding, unifying anthem.